Fam, what is going on? Good morning to you. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining me today on Bama Football on YouTube. Today on the show, it's the score prediction show. So the call line is open from the jump, 205-850-1994. Call in. I want your score prediction. I want your MVP for Alabama versus LSU. A critical game in this point in time. We've talked about this game all week. What is going to happen? The key elements of this game. How is Alabama going to rise to the occasion? And what I feel and what you know is a must-win game. Alabama favored by now 3 points into this game. The line has been sliding. People starting to feel a little bit more comfortable about Alabama going to Death Valley. But as you know, it's been a season where we haven't been able to predict the games as easy as the past, right? You look to the games against like South Carolina, we were feeling comfortable. Gotten a tight one there. You look to the games early on in the season, things didn't, it was just, it's been up and down. I think a lot has to do with parity, clearly, but there's some vulnerabilities with Alabama. So I'm curious to see how this team does today. I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Here's a weather report. We got this from North Alabama Storm Chase, and it looks like there's a 30% chance of rain for that tailgate. It looks like there's a 30% chance for kickoff. But it looks like this storm doesn't really provide the rain that we thought it was going to at the start of the week. So it looks like we should be good. Antonio Snell, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here on the show today. So when you call in, I want your score prediction. I want your MVP. And don't forget, Alabama basketball has a game tonight taking on Arkansas State. Now, before I take your calls, did you see that Arkansas State, their bus broke down, okay? Their bus broke down, and the former assistant coach, Brian Harsin, he was able to replace the belt on the charter bus. Did you see this on social media? To get the bus going again. So, look, I love it. When you're a coach, you're at the top. You got to be able to take care of your team. That's what he did. So did you see this on social media? All right, Alabama taking on Arkansas State. I can't wait to see that. Like, this team is it. And when you look to the top, you got LeBaron Philon. Yo, jump on this Alabama bandwagon if you can. Like, there's plenty of room. Become one of the Nate Oates supporters. This team is it. We're not blowing smoke. Like, if you follow Alabama basketball and if you can stay up late to watch these games, it's kind of tough with the time change. I get it. But this team is absolutely it. LeBaron Philon, Mark Sears, Aiden Holloway, Wright Sells back. I would assume Grant Nelson, you can't see, he's at the bottom of the screen. I would imagine he gets in some sort of a rhythm going forward, a little bit banged up right now still. And then Chris Youngblood, same thing. Whenever he gets back on, he'll be good to go. Mo Diabate, one of my favorite players right now. And then Cliff Amore, like, this guy is the big rim protector that Alabama needed. So Alabama in action tonight, 7 p.m. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Should be a fantastic crowd. SEC Network Plus. And, so got some also some good games taking place this coming weekend in SEC. I mean, this is it. I'm curious to see how Florida in this Texas game go. Texas just lost a wide receiver to I guess, like, he's going to be in the transfer portal or whatever. Florida announced that they're keeping Billy Napier. Let me ask you real quick before I get to the phone lines. Are you surprised, yes or no, inside the comment box, that Billy Napier is retained? I'm not. Yo, the guy, like, I think everybody was ready to fire him when they looked to the back end of Florida's schedule. But, the guy coached. He didn't, I mean, that hot seat, there was no hotter hot seat than Florida. And for him to kind of fight through and still be standing right now, I think he has to get, a new offensive coordinator. Man, I thought he would have been gone. Remember, everybody was like, Lane Kiffin's going to take over? Now, the way that Florida played, because Florida didn't just, like, completely nosedive. Like, they fought. They had some fight in them, and I think they fought for the coach. So, with them announcing that Florida is keeping Billy Napier, I'm not surprised to see it. But I thought for a while that it was super hot. Woo. Oh, when you guys call in today, feel free to give me I might ask you, how you feeling about this Georgia and Ole Miss game? Give me a score prediction. Curious to see how many of you take Ole Miss. I don't know. I'm kind of living on the fact that, like, I don't know. Maybe Jarvis is like my statistician. Jarvis, I got a job for you. What is the last, like, I was going to do this early on the show and I got caught up. What was that? I was doing some prep work for the show, but I wanted to see what is the last, like, big game that Lane Kiffin won at Ole Miss? I feel that sometimes Lane Kiffin, I'm talking Ole Miss, Georgia here. I feel that Lane Kiffin, sometimes he coaches a little bit too emotional, and that's why he doesn't win some of these big games. Antonio, and I think you're right, man. If there's anybody that knows how to tread water, that was Billy Napier. Man, he's treading water. He was like in the ocean. He made one of those life jackets with the shirt. You know what they tell you to do in a survival situation? He survived. All right, call-in line is open. When you call in, give me score prediction for Alabama, LSU, your MVP, and then shoot, why not? Give me your pick for Georgia and Ole Miss. All right. We start out with the 865, and it looks like we got Angel out in Pigeon Forge. Angel, what's up, man? I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you always supporting the show. So we're talking score predictions. How you feeling, man? Angel from Pigeon Forge. Go ahead, man.
About Alabama and LSU?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think Alabama's going to win this game convincingly against LSU and Garrett Nussmeier. Because we've seen Garrett Nussmeier struggle against Texas A&M. There's going to be so much struggle for him. And Alabama's ready to play right now. Like, they had a couple of games where they could have won the game, and they lost the game. But I think now, since this is an elimination game, a lot's going to be riding on this game. Everybody's going to watch the whole game, the whole country is, because this will be the moment where Alabama steps up in the big plays and the biggest moments when it counts most. Because I really do believe Alabama will dominate LSU on both sides of the ball. And I know that LSU has a couple weapons like that tight end and Aaron Anderson, but you got to have more than just those two players on your team to make big plays.
Yeah.
While Alabama has way more players at doing that. And Alabama's just got too much talent on that team to lose this game. I just think they're superior than LSU's players because Alabama's so deep at every position. And it's going to be a matter of coaching, game clock management, but, and on Jalen Milroe too, because LSU's got to be ready to, deal with his passing game and his running ability. That's why LSU struggled against, was it Marcus Reed, whatever his name was?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were too hung up on Connor Wegman that they didn't prepare for the other guy. Has to do this, but I don't think they have the playmakers to stop Jalen because he's really fast.
And I think, on with Angel from Pigeon Forge. And I think when you look to, last year doesn't dictate this year, but Jalen Milroe, when he wants to take over a game, he does have that ability. Last year he ran for 120 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground last year against LSU. I would imagine that, look, Jalen Milroe understands that this is a big money game for him, right? The way that he has played in the last couple of games, I think people want to see, can he win a big game on the road? How is he playing during this point of the season? Can Jalen Milroe take this team to the playoffs? And look, there's a lot of outside noise, so I think this is a perfect opportunity for Jalen to silence the doubters, right? And play against another very good quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. Now, they both have different skill sets, so I'm curious to see that matchup. Antonio asked about the injury report. So right now for the injury report, Alabama will be out without Cole Adams at wide receiver, and they'll be without Keon Sabb. For LSU, they're missing Harold Perkins on the defensive side, and I believe they're missing their left guard, who's a starter as well. So each team missing a starter on offense and a starter on defense. All right, Angel, when you talk about MVPs, what are you looking like? We touched on Milroe a little bit, but is there anyone else that you might feel be like an MVP or a major X factor in this game?
Yes, I'm going to say it again because when is Kobe Prentice going to step up? I've said this every week so far. When is he going to step up? Because we've seen him drop passes, and to Jalen Milroe, he's got to step up his game because everything's on the line right now. He can't be the only one that that needs to step up. Everyone else has, but him. And I get it with the injuries he had, but man, you can't drop passes like that. Like he's got to step up in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But also Jeremy Bernard as well, because he didn't come to Alabama for a reason. He came to win a national championship. And I know that last year Washington failed in doing that. But I really do believe Kobe Prentice will be the MVP of this game on offense because they're going to try and lock down Ryan Williams. And they're not going to see Kobe Prentice coming because they're too worried about Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard and everyone else than Kobe Prentice right now.
Yeah, I
So
think
that's gonna be a threat for
this would be a perfect time. I mean, I have no idea how many catches or touches that Kendrick Law is going to be utilized or like a Kobe Prentice, but maybe since Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams are wide receiver to 1 and 2, maybe one of these other wide receivers kind of steps up. All right, Angel, I appreciate it. Before you go, man, give me a real quick take. Who are you picking? Any chance that Ole Miss beats Georgia tomorrow? Give me that point, and then we'll move on.
No, Ole Miss has no chance. I'm sorry.
Right. Yep.
Georgia's a way better team, and I just don't see them doing that. It's going to be a blowout.
All right, man.
But also, my Alabama prediction is 48-20.
48-20. All right.
Prediction.
48-20. All right, Angel's got it 48-20. I appreciate it, Angel. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you always supporting me, man. All right, Angel out in Pigeon Forge. Thanks for the call, man. All right, Angel has it 40-20. Let me write that down. Angel 40-20. Did he say Angel posted in the comment? Was it 48-20? Or was it 40-20? All right, I think we got Case out in Tampa next. Case, what's up, man?
Hey, finally getting some recognition for the 813, man.
Usually you know what? So
yeah,
so this is how. Okay, so let me say this because some people they're a little soft. Sometimes they get upset if I don't know the area code. But I get area codes from all over, right? I'm not like Ludacris, but it's like I got area codes. So everyone's calling. Yeah, right. Everyone is calling in, and usually I compare it because it'll tell me like how many times someone has called. But if they've only called a couple times, I don't really know where they're calling from, so I started to recognize the 813. So if you call in and I ask you, even like people who have called in over 100 times, like if I ask you where you're calling in, number one, it kind of helps with to start the show, and then number two, like don't hold offense to it because I'm doing a million things back here. So Case from Tampa, what's up, man? I appreciate you.
Shout out my 813. My Bucks got ripped off last night against the Chiefs. I don't know why they haven't changed the NFL overtime rules. It's ridiculous. But we're not talking about NFL. We're talking about college football. All right, give me Alabama, 31-24. Okay. I'm comfortable. I think we're going to win in good fashion. LSU has got weaknesses just like we do. But I think we're finding our stride later in the season, like always, like the last couple seasons. I want the MVP, Jalen Milroe, of course. LSU showed a weakness against Texas A&M. They could not stop a running QB. Marcel Reed ran for 70 yards on them.
Yep.
And they Texas A&M didn't throw a single. I don't think they didn't have a single receiving touchdown. It was all rushing touchdowns. And I believe one of them was a long for 35 yards. Texas A&M didn't throw a single passing touchdown. So if that's something for Alabama's offensive coordinator to take, it's to run the ball. So the backup MVP, Jam Miller. Okay, big game for him. Nussmeier, he's a good QB, but he's been kind of overshadowed by Carson Beck throwing all of his interceptions. Nussmeier threw 3 interceptions in that one half of football, almost one quarter. 3 interceptions. And so I think our defense is making big strides. I hope we get to see the ball hawk Bray Hubbard come in and make some good plays. But I think our defense is going to step up. I think we're going to get some key takeaways. I think we're going to score off those takeaways because Nussmeier is a good quarterback, and it's not that he throws completely off the mark. It's that he makes the wrong read and he throws into double coverage and it ends up being an interception. So if the defense can be heads up and make a play off of it, I think we'll get some interceptions off of it. There's some key matchups I'm looking at with some of the freshmen that are growing into their spot, like Xavier and Brown with some of the LSU receivers. They have some good receivers over there at LSU, but they're still young, just like our DBs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. But other than that, man, I'm feeling. I'm not trying to jinx it, but I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling excited. And also with Ole Miss, that people are going to say I'm crazy, but there's one thing that people don't account for in college football, and it's luck. And no, you can't control it. You can't control luck. It just happens sometimes. And if there's one thing I've learned about LSU, it goes back even with Alabama. They get lucky. You know, that's in 2014 when we won the national championship. We had one loss. It was to LSU, and it was because a receiver caught a ball that bounced off of one of our players' helmets. And Ole Miss has luck, so I'm going to take Ole Miss to beat Georgia off of some crazy luck. That's what I'm taking.
All right, Case. I appreciate the call in, man. Thanks for calling in, man. I got you from the 813, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one. Roll Tide.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Roll Tide to you. All right, that was we got Angel. And Angel, I got your score prediction. Angel has a 48-20, and Case has a 31-24. Case is actually taking Ole Miss to beat Georgia, and Angel is saying no way that's going to happen. He's taking Georgia. All right. Next up, we got a 202. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson.
Hey.
Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up? Calling in from Virginia. My name is Benjamin.
Hey, Benjamin.
I've been watching your channel for.
Hey, Benjamin, let's take a quick time out. Can you turn down the volume in the back?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
And you know what? I knew it was a 202. You know, I used to live out in Alexandria. And in D.C., I'm familiar with the area code, so I was like, the 202. So let's restart, man. So welcome to the show. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
I'm Benjamin. I'm calling in from Virginia.
Okay.
And I've been watching the channel for about 6 months now. So.
Okay. Well, welcome in. I could still hear a little bit of the feedback on the back of the TV, man. You might want to mute it. But anyways, man, Ben, welcome on the show, man. Come with it.
So I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching your show for about 6 months now, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm an Alabama fan. I was raised in Alabama home, kind of, but I wasn't, like, raised in Alabama. I've been raised here in Virginia, so it's different, but, yeah.
What are you thinking about for a score prediction for Alabama LSU? How you feeling, Ben?
I think it's going to be close since we've not really I've been watching our games and I have not really liked how we've been playing that well. I've been kind of upset about a few games like Vandy and then the tough Tennessee loss.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be close. I think Bama's going to come out maybe like 10 points. Thinking maybe 21-31. Bama wins 31.
Right. 31-21. Ben has it. And what about for an MVP, Ben?
It has to be between Jalen Miller or Jam Miller.
Yeah, and I have a question for the comment box. More or less than 15 carries for Jam Miller. What do you think, Ben? You think Jam gets fed more than 15 times or less than 15 times?
It honestly just depends on the LSU defense, honestly. I know that they're missing some key factors on their defense, but I feel like he's going to get a handful of runs, but I'm not going to say 15 attempts, maybe a little bit less than that, but...
Yeah, I think, like, kind of in my keys to the game, I was saying more than 15, I think you win the game, rushes for Jam, and I think if Jalen Milroe, accounts for more than 3 touchdowns, you win this game. All right, Ben, before I let you go, give me your who's your pick, Georgia or Ole Miss?
Okay, for this one, I feel like it's gonna be close. But the way that Bama beat Georgia earlier this year, I feel like it's gonna be close. But I have Georgia on top.
Okay.
I'm gonna say maybe Georgia. I would say it's gonna be a close game. Like I said, 28-24, maybe.
All right, man. Yeah, good stuff, man. I appreciate it, Ben. Hey, thank you so much for watching the show, man. And we'll be on live tomorrow for the watch along. So jump back on, man. All right. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you, brother.
All
right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That was Ben calling from the 202. We went from the 813 to the 202. Kaysen with a big super chat. He's feeling good. He's saying feed jam. And that's what I was saying. You know, I think the more reps that you give, and I posted this on our Facebook page as well. Alabama Crimson Tide on Facebook, or just Bama Football on YouTube, Facebook, you'll find it. I asked more or less for Jam Miller 15 attempts. And I think it's interesting because when you look to the attempts that he's had, the most that he's rushed the football this year was 15 times against South Florida. And somebody was like, Justice Haynes is better than him. Look, I think right now Jam Miller is running back number 1, and it's great to have a really good number 2. We saw what Justice Haynes is capable of, and the more that we see of him is great. So I want to see both of those running backs in a game like this. And I've said this before. I really feel that Alabama's the key to success throughout the remainder of the season is the utilization of those 2 running backs. So curious to see how they are utilized in this game against LSU. We go back to the phone lines, and thank you, Case. I really appreciate it, man. 317, you're up next. Hey, good morning. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? It's Marcus from St. Pete, man. What's good?
Marcus, man, I just sent out the Ryan Williams rookie card yesterday. So so I went to UPS to go send to send it. And they had like a box. So there's a box in there. I wrote you a note, and you got the cards. Actually, there's 2 cards that are in there. So you got 2 Ryan Williams rookie cards, man. So I appreciate you supporting the show. Stay relentless. We got Marcus calling from Florida, man, from St. Pete's. So I appreciate you joining in, man. Welcome on to the show.
Thanks, man. I didn't know I was getting cards. That's what's up, Kyle.
Yep.
That made my morning. I'm first things first. I gotta say this, man. I know this is a couple of days past due, but that dude, Bama hater, who called in, that was all in love with Miami, that wouldn't answer your question. That dude had me cracking up, man. That dude had me dying laughing. He wouldn't answer any questions, but he just kept talking. Like, he would not stop. Hilarious.
And I think, but for Bama hater, so Bama hater calls in every once in a while. That's his username. You'll see him chime in. And he's really excited about his Miami team. And who wouldn't be? Like, if you're a Canes fan, like, you're having an amazing season. You're undefeated. You have Cam Ward probably taken off as the top quarterback in the draft, right? But what I was asking Kim, and I wasn't discrediting their season. I think I put them in my pretender category because of the teams that they've played, and they've been trailing in games against Duke, against Louisville, against Cal, against Virginia Tech, right? They were losing in all of those games. And then I showed a graphic of the SEC top teams, and I asked them, where would Miami be in the SEC? It's hypothetical, I know. It's tough to answer, and I feel that, if I was to ask, let's say, who would win, Ole Miss or Miami? I think, it's not like Ole Miss is at the top of the SEC. And I think if I was to ask everybody right now, I would imagine a lot are going to say Ole Miss. But anyways, Marcus, what's up, man? What do you think from a score for Alabama LSU? What you got?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. This weekend, for me personally, it feels I get the same feeling I had when Alabama went to go play Vandy. I just didn't have a good feeling. I thought it was going to be a weekend of upset. I want Alabama to win because that's been my team since 1992. But with LSU having so many key contributors out, Alabama has to go out and play some good ball. But winning in Death Valley is always a big task. And we just have to be real with ourselves as Alabama fans. And this even happened underneath Coach Saban's tenure. Alabama looked like a different team on the road. Do I think Alabama can get the victory? Absolutely. It's a possibility in the realm of all possibilities.
Yeah.
I think the game's going to be close if the defense doesn't come alive, and I think that has to be crucial. I called in earlier in the season before it started, and I mentioned how LSU, Tennessee, and I forgot what the other program was. Were all breaking in brand new quarterbacks, and you got to heat up the pocket on them.
Yeah.
You got to get a pass rush. They can't get comfortable. And what do? We let Nico get a little comfortable in the pocket. We have to get after Garrett Nussmeier.
100%.
You can't let the kid sit in the pocket and cook because he'll do it.
Yeah.
He really will. I say the score is going to be really close. I say something like 27-24.
27-24. All right, now that's.
I think it's going to be a very close game.
I think that's under the total because the total I think is floating at 60. Jarvis, you can hit me up with the total on that game. But yeah, I mean, I think most people feel it's going to be tight. I mean, you look at the scores. Besides Angel has Alabama running away, but Case has it 31-24. And, Ben from Virginia has a 31-21. You have a 27-24. What do you think about – do you have an MVP outside of Jalen Milroe or like an X factor, somebody you feel that's got to like step up? I mean, a lot of people have been mentioning Jam, and rightfully so.
It's got to be the defense.
Defense, all right.
It's got to be the defense, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Like I was saying, that the defense has to get to – they have to get to Garrett Nussmeier. They have to. And if they generate a good enough pass rush, that's going to help out the back end of the defense. We got some younger guys playing. It's going to be exciting to see them play. But, this is season. This is, year one under Coach DeBoer, so there's going to be growing pains. But I think the defense has to come alive. And just like you were saying, aside from Jalen Milroe, because I think Bama's offensive game plan should be exactly what they did last year. Run power, let Jalen Milroe use his legs, take your shots when you got him. That would be my offensive game plan.
Let me ask, this is for you, Marcus, along with everybody inside the comment box. What is your guys' anxiety level when you think about the Alabama secondary? And look, I feel, I guess, a little bit better about Bray. I think he did a great game against Missouri, but they didn't have a quarterback. Xavier Brown's a freshman. I'm worried about the secondary. I would say my anxiety, like for the secondary against LSU, is probably like a 7 out of 10, which is pretty high. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of share the same thing, man. I said before the season started, I was worried about the secondary. They were very young and inexperienced. Your 5-star status is great, but until that 5-star status catches up with your experience on the field and you understand the speed of the game and the tendencies of whoever you're going against, I'm going to take the experienced guy over the 5-star guy. My anxiety is probably about like a 6 to a 7.
6 to 7.
I think if they keep it in front of them and they can make open field tackles, I'll live with that. But the deep shots, that's something that Alabama secondary has been consistently exposed on, which is losing guys, 15, 20 yards down the field and they get behind the coverage. I think you got some guy wide open who runs in for, catches a pass for a 60-yard touchdown scamper. That's what I'm concerned about because Garrett Nussmeier is a smart player. He has a high football IQ and he can take those type of shots.
Yeah, we had a caller yesterday call in. His name was Cliff. He called from Baton Rouge. He said he's been watching this matchup for, I don't know, decades. And I asked him about Garrett Nussmeier, and he said, look, he does have some shortcomings, but he said if you don't put pressure on him, he could fit it in tight windows. So, and that's the thing that look, I get it. You did force 3 interceptions against Georgia. But it still feels at times that Alabama doesn't send like the house. They don't send, and I get it. You sacrifice one thing for another. You don't want your guys to get caught in man coverage. But sometimes I feel that there's not enough pressure on the quarterbacks. I guess we'll have to see, what happens in the game plan. All right, Marcus, what do you got for Georgia and Ole Miss?
Look, the last caller, or I think the caller before, said something about people don't account for luck in football, and that's very true. But luck ain't beating Georgia. Not like that. When's the last time you saw a team get lucky and beat Georgia? Georgia isn't that type of program. You'll get lucky if you get a pick. You'll get lucky if you get a stop. I mean, stop to think about this. Carson Beck has thrown, 11 interceptions in his last 3 games, and Georgia still won those games.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know
Like,
that.
let's be real with us.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about if Milroe threw 3 interceptions in his or 11 interceptions within his last
Oh
3
my
to 4 games.
God.
Do we really think Alabama's winning those games?
Wow,
No.
that's crazy. I
Luck
didn't even
has-
know that. Wow.
Those teams got lucky because they picked Carson Beck, but Georgia is not a team that you can beat with luck.
Yep.
I don't think luck is going to play a big enough factor to where you're going to beat Georgia. I think Georgia's going to handle business against Ole Miss as they should. I have nothing against Ole Miss or Georgia for that matter. I think they're both 2 great programs.
Yeah.
But roster for roster, coach for coach, talent for talent, I'm taking Georgia, whether it's at home, on the road, or neutral field. I'm taking Georgia all day, every day.
Yeah. All right. Like it. Good stuff, man. I appreciate the call in, man, and I'll catch up with you next round, man.
Absolutely, Kyle. Have a great day, everybody. Roll Tide.
All right. Roll Tide too, man. You know what? We got a 513 and a 417 coming up next. And I said, Marcus, I'm sorry. I said you're getting the Ryan Williams rookie cards. It's actually going to Chris. I'm sorry. So it's going to Chris. Chris was a part of our raffle, I think like a couple weeks ago. So he's getting the Ryan Williams rookie card. My bad on that. He was like, what? I'm getting Ryan Williams rookie cards. Thank you so much. But Chris, I just sent them out yesterday. It's a box. All right. And there's a note to you too. All right. 531, you're up next. Hey, welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Anderson. Who am I on the line with? Where are you calling in from?
This is Brad from Omaha calling in.
Brad from Omaha?
Yep.
Welcome on in, Brad.
402, the 531.
Yeah, I love it, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome in, Brad from Omaha. I appreciate you calling in. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide family. It's Friday.
That's right.
LSU week.
Hey, So Brad,
Go ahead.
yeah, on our Friday shows, we do score predictions. And so
Yes, sir.
I want a score prediction, a game MVP, or if you got something else that like a storyline you're kind of watching with this game. And then I'll probably ask you about Georgia and Ole Miss. That's another marquee game within the SEC. So welcome on in, Brad. It's like from the jump, what's your score prediction? How you feeling about this game between Alabama and LSU?
I feel really good about it, Kyle. One thing that I'm looking at when I see this game on paper is, yes, Alabama's a 3-point favorite. And everywhere I've listened to on the radio, on podcasts, everybody's saying, why are you taking Bama in that 3-point spread where they're playing in Death Valley at night? And my question is, why not take Alabama? They're one of the only teams in college football with multiple wins in the last 15 years on the road at night in Death Valley. And this year, I look at the Texas A&M game for LSU. We saw what Garrett Nussmeier looks like when he's getting a lot of pressure, when his receivers aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. I really like our matchup against LSU. I like Blake Baker's defense to give up a lot of yards to Jalen Milroe, because last year when he was at Missouri, LSU scorched them. Jan Daniels was their quarterback. They put up 40 points. So who's to say Alabama can't put up 40 points against this LSU defense and not only put up 40 points, but they can win by double digits? So I really like Alabama winning this game in Death Valley. I'm going to go with a final score of 49-38.
49-38. So
I think Jalen, yes.
MVPs?
I'm going to go MVP because he's coming back home. Give me Kendrick Law.
Oh, I like it.
I think this is finally the game that he breaks out. This has to be the game. I don't care if he's returning kicks, if he's returning punts, if he's returning missed field goals. We've all seen this year. If this football.
Hey, Brad, you're breaking up, man. We're going to have to move on. But I appreciate the call. And Brad, you were kind of cutting in and out. Maybe it was the Omaha open air, but I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in from the Midwest. To recap, Brad had it 49-38. Kind of points to the fact that Alabama's had a lot of success in Baton Rouge in the past, which is true. I mean, I've been to Baton Rouge 2 times physically, and I've watched this team go into Death Valley and take the air out of the team. This time it's different. There's a lot on the line. There's always a lot on the line when these two teams play. Remember when Ed Orgeron was the coach there? Man, he'd be running without his shirt like around around the campus. Do you remember this? It was kind of like uncomfortable to watch. The guy was fired up though. I like the fire in the belly, and I like the Cajun in him. But I remember when Orgeron was a coach, and he had a lot of fire, but didn't have a lot of success against Coach Saban. All right, we go back to the phone lines. We got a 417. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Timmy. I'm calling in from Springfield, Missouri.
Tim, what's up, man? I appreciate you, man. Be safe on the road. Have you driven out through New Mexico or Texas within the last, probably not, but in the last 48 hours? Have you seen the snow over there?
I haven't. I was supposed to get a load to Denver, but I had some issues pop up, so I couldn't go.
Man, it was because it was absolutely. I mean, there's like 2-3 feet of snow over there. It's crazy. So be safe on the road. Glad you're safe. All right, so we got Tim on the road calling from Missouri today. What you got, man? In KTK, it's all good, man. I appreciate the call in from Omaha. All right, Timothy on the road from Missouri. Let's start with the score prediction. Go ahead, man.
I got Alabama winning 37-31. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I feel like Alabama's going to have a double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter, but LSU's going to claw back, and Alabama's going to kick a late field goal to pull away.
Yeah, that's one thing.
31.
Yeah, I'm watching this field goal kicker. I don't have kickers. This guy makes me a little bit nervous. Missed a kick on the road against Wisconsin, and I kind of lost a little bit of faith in him. But he did hit 2 field goals in this last game, so I felt a little bit better. I watched that game, the Ravens and Bengals last night. That was absolutely crazy. Lamar Jackson, no matter how many points are ahead of him, they were leading, 21-7 in the third quarter, comes back. That game was crazy. How about Joe Burrow, how many yards he passed for, and Jamar Chase? Oh, my goodness. If you had him on your fantasy football team, congratulations. All right, what about MVPs, Tim, when we look at a game like this, Alabama, LSU, MVP? Who are you looking at?
I'm looking at Q-Rob because against Missouri, he was everywhere. He was getting to the quarterback. He was pressuring the quarterback. He was knocking people for losses. He was getting there. His pursuit, his speed was insane against Missouri. I got him doing the same thing against Garrett Nussmeier and that defense. And I think I was listening to Greg McElroy this morning. Yeah. LSU does not run the ball. They run on 26% of their plays. In a game, they run 20% of the time. Mm-hmm. They are not a running team. So if we can get them to get uncomfortable and where Garrett Nussmeier's throwing an interception or two and they run the ball and they're not comfortable doing that, we can have them on their Achilles heel and we can start gaining momentum and taking everything that they have away from them.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't think when you look at keys to the game, I think we just talk about LSU's passing game because, they definitely do lack a running game. And I think on the flip side for Alabama, I think the one thing that I will agree with Brian Kelly is, look, Alabama does have holes. So he said that this team doesn't have any imperfections, but this team is balanced and they can be balanced. So they can run the football, they can throw the football. What about this Georgia Ole Miss game taking place? Who you like in that one?
Man, I'll just go back to what happened last year.
Yep.
Everybody was like, the Lane train is going to win, but they got blown out. I'm taking the same thing that's going to happen in this game. Their defense is a little bit more improved with Walter Nolan and a few key guys that transferred from Bama to Ole Miss and transferred there to Ole Miss. I'm still taking Georgia. After what they did to Texas, what they did,
falling from behind from against Florida and dealing with all that crap with Carson Beck.
Yep.
They're going to have a bounce back game. Who else to bounce back from other than Ole Miss? So I got Georgia in that game by a lot.
All right, appreciate it, man. Be safe on the road, and we will catch up with you hopefully tomorrow, man. So appreciate it, Tim, and thanks for calling in, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Tim calling on the road, this time in Missouri. I did like those Raven helmets. I did. I saw they were nice. I liked them last night. No, that was a good game. The only thing that I don't like is that those games are on NFL or on Amazon Prime. Seriously, because then I had to go log in to Prime on my phone, and it was just like. Plus, like, I don't want to watch games on Prime. I don't know. I don't want to watch games on Prime. I don't want to watch games on Netflix. I want to watch games on just YouTube TV, like the 4-box thing. All right. I think we got Free Mike calling in. Mike, what's up, man? I appreciate you joining the show.
Good morning, Kyle. Hey, real quick, the NFL should not put stuff on Amazon Prime.
Thank you.
Because I cannot afford Amazon Prime, and they ought to be good corporate citizens and make NFL, especially since they're a tax-free entity, just so like a nonprofit entity. I don't. But anyway, Kyle, good morning. Hey, this LSU game, I'm feeling real good about Alabama's chances. Real good about us going to LSU and winning.
Mm. What are we looking at for like a score? What are you looking like for a score prediction? But go ahead, build this up.
Kyle, I think we're going to beat them pretty good, and this is just my prediction. This is why I think we finally found our identity, and we went through our mid-season lull. We went through our mid-season dip. We got beat by a decent Vandy team in Tennessee. Anybody could have lost at Tennessee, but we went through our mid-season lull. I think we found our identity. We found our refocus. We got something to play for. We control our destiny, which is everything really as far as motivating the team. But Kyle, I want to point something out for a second, if I could, right? Because like I was talking to LSU fans yesterday about this, and they were kind of hating on Alabama a little bit, telling us how down we are, and the Nick Saban era is over, and we got to get used to it. Which I kind of agree with that. We were spoiled in the Nick Saban era. But check this out. This is what I told them, right? If Alabama's so bad, we got a first-year DeBoer coach, 70-person turnover roster, a loss at Vanderbilt, in turmoil apparently. Why are we still favored over a third-year Brian Kelly LSU team? I mean, so apparently things aren't too bad in Tuscaloosa. Because get this now, Kelly has been in LSU for 3 years. Why they're not top 5, I don't know. They're LSU. But just us being favored in that game either shows me how really good we are or really bad they are. And I don't think they're bad. I just think we're pretty good. People just, all the naysaying, people still think we're pretty good. And so do I, Kyle. So here's my prediction on it. Bama, okay. I think we're going to get it going. Bama 4.
Oh, no, he broke up right at the score prediction part. Mike, hit it on repeat. He goes through a tunnel in Austin? Oh, man. No, Mike. We can kind of hear you. Yeah. Hit the rewind.
Okay, buddy. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Alabama right now, man, so my signal's kind of fading in and out. Can you hear me, dude?
Yeah. Hell yeah, we can hear you. Start with you were just about to say the score prediction.
Oh, Alabama's going to whoop them 44, about 45 to 27. I think Bama's going to beat them pretty good, man. 45 to 20. I think Milroe's going to start clicking again. Because, Kyle, I want to tell you something. I want to remind Bama Nation of one thing, right? The first half of that Georgia game, I want Bama Nation to think back about the first half of that Georgia game. Now, I know about the second half. The second half, total different book. Different book. The first half of that Georgia game, that was some of the best college football I've ever seen played in my life, Kyle, and I'm 60 years old. If we play football like that right there, we're never going to lose a game again. So if we can ever get to that level of play that we played in the first half of the Georgia game now, the Georgia game, I mean, it was – if we can play like that, which I think that's our potential, we're going to be good. But like I say, you know, things are good. I think we're going to beat LSU because – and I think they're injured. Perkins is out. I mean, last I know, I haven't been keeping up a lot, but I think LSU's real injured. We're really motivated, and I think we're going to go in and get him, Kyle. So I feel good about the rest of the season, buddy.
I appreciate it. Before you go, Mike, Georgia, Ole Miss.
That is going to be an awesome game to call. Kyle, here's the deal. Beginning of the year, I said every SEC team was going to have 2 losses, and I'm sticking with that. So Georgia has 1 loss, and Texas has 1 loss. Alabama and LSU already have their 2 losses. So it's a very no, I say Georgia beats them. I say Georgia beats Ole Miss. And the reason why, Ole Miss is very capable of winning the game. I mean, very capable of winning the game. But I say Georgia's going to beat them because Georgia's just, unfortunately, the best team in college football. And they are now, where Bama has been many years with Nick Saban, the best team in college football. But that doesn't mean you're going to win them all. But on big games like this, coming up against Ole Miss, and considering Ole Miss has a ceiling, I'm just going to go ahead and pick Georgia as an easy pick. Just go ahead and pick Georgia. But it's a tough game, though, and Ole Miss can win. They can win, but it's a tough pick. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Georgia just because of the old-school physical play and the way they handle Texas, man. That Texas game, Georgia showed me a lot. They showed me some old-school, real hard-to-beat football. So I'm gonna pick Georgia by like 30-25, not by much, 30-25.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you, man. Stay safe on the road, Mike, and we'll catch up with you soon.
All right, take care, buddy. Good luck. God bless.
See ya. That's my good buddy Mike in Austin. But I think he's in Alabama right now. I think he has family here. I think he goes back and forth. Long-time caller, Mike in Austin. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. You know, I'm about to go to I think I'm going to hit a Waysider. I'm feeling like Waysider this morning. So, look, here's my score prediction for this game. When you look at this game and you break it down, I think it comes down to a couple of things. Number one, can Alabama control the time of possession? If they can do that, I think they clearly can keep LSU's offense off the field. What I don't want to happen is for this to become a street fight, and you have these two teams going back and forth playing grass basketball. I think that gives LSU the edge. With that said, I think the main common denominator and the player that has the biggest playmaking ability is still Jalen Milroe in this game. So look, no, I don't like blue plate. I'm sorry, I don't like blue plate. I don't like it. I've given that place so many opportunities, and I'm not feeling it. But I do think it's going to be a shootout tomorrow. All right, so look, I thought about at the beginning of the show, I was like, is this going to be the time where I pick against Alabama? It's not. All right, I am taking Alabama to win 38-35, okay? Graham Nicholson hit me a last-second field goal to win in Death Valley. I think it's going to be tight. Hopefully the Alabama Crimson Tide come with it. I think, look, this team, they've been through a lot. This roster's been through a lot. This locker room's been through a lot. Coach Caitlin DeBoer has been through a lot. So I think they come together and they pull out a big one at LSU. It's going to be tight. I think Garrett Nussmeier will hit a couple, but I think that Alabama will be able to pull it out. Be tight. Brunch, yeah, I could call it brunch. I mean, for me, I wake up, I get the workout in. I already ate a little bit of breakfast, but I think I got to hit the Waysider, just, pull away for a little bit. So I appreciate you guys being here. And I told T, I was like, let's go to Waysider. So we're about to hit it. If you're in Tuscaloosa tomorrow, I'm leading a workout at the Capstone. Capstone is Butler Field. All right, 6 a.m. tomorrow, part of F3. I am leading tomorrow. Come get your workout in. F3 is fitness, fellowship, and faith. So if you're in the area and you want to come get a workout with yours truly before the game at 6 in the morning, I'm leading. Bring your running shoes, okay? Bring your running shoes. We're going to be moving. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing Friday. If major news happens, I'm back on live. And as news happens, I got you covered with videos right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Case, thank you so much. Thank you to Angel. Thank you to Ben from Virginia. Thank you to Marcus. Thank you to Brad. Thank you to Tim. And thank you for Mike from Austin calling in. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, wishing you a fantastic Friday. I'll catch up with you soon. From beautiful Hollywood, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Drop your score prediction inside the comment box if you didn't call in